6, 2019 Planning and Zoning Commission meeting is now called to order. Can I get a roll call, please?
Taylor.
Here.
Nguyen.
Here.
Aaron's.
Here.
Wenman. Here. Fessler. Wilson.
Okay, so do we have any corrections to the agenda? No. Nope. Do we have motion to approve the agenda?
So moved.
Moved by Aaron,
Second.
second by Taylor. We now vote on approving the agenda. On those approve, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. On those say nay. Okay, motion carried. Any corrections to the minutes from the meeting of October 2nd, 2019? No. Do you have motion to approve the minutes from the October 2nd, 2019 meeting?
So moved. Seconded.
So moved by Taylor, seconded by Aaron's. We now vote on approving the minutes from the October 2nd, 2019 meeting. On those who approve, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carried. Now, agenda item number 5. Request by Iowa Coral Group LLC and Mark Avis for the approval of the preliminary plat, final plat, and PUD-2 PUD-B site plan. Do you have a motion to consider approval of the preliminary plat?
We gotta open the public hearing first.
Oh, okay. Lee told me that only the third item to be a public hearing.
No, we have to open the public hearing.
For all of
on
them?
yeah.
Okay. Okay, so we now open the public hearing for considering the approval of the preliminary plat.
Actually, when we need to have the public hearing opened up on everything, but basically the public hearing is on the RPUD 2 and RPUD 2 and the B site plan is what the public hearing is on. So
Oh,
that's what we need to discuss during the public hearing. So that's what we need the public hearing on at this point.
So now, right? You have to do, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, we have to open it. We have to open it now for those items.
Okay. So now we open the public hearing for considering the approval of the PUD-2 site plan.
Sure, that'd be good, Mark.
Please cite in your name and address, please.
My name is Mark Avis, the developer on the project.
Can you sign in on the sheet too?
Oh, I will. Okay. All right. My name is Mark Avis. I'm with Red Hawk Multifamily. We're one of the partners on this project. I think I was here last, April for our initial concept approval. I don't want to go through the whole presentation of the project to spare time. But, in general, very excited about this project. I think you're, aware of what it is. It'll be over 366 apartments, 9 buildings, and we've worked through staff, gone all their comments, and our general plan is we're going to do some mass grading this fall, and then start on the construction next, March or April. The clubhouse and all the amenities will be delivered in December 2020, and we're looking for first occupancies basically January 2021, if I got those dates right. So as I said, I've done these projects all over the Midwest and also in Texas, and we look forward to bringing this type of community here. We think it's unique. First really non-student apartment complex with all the amenities in this MSA for this size, and we're very excited to bring it here. So this is where we're at right now. So I don't know if the packet there's any general questions. If not, I'll just let it go.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Is there anybody who want to speak on this item? Okay, I will now close the public hearing. I do have motion to consider approval of the preliminary plat.
So moved.
Moved by Aaron's.
Second.
Seconded by Wedman. Any discussion?
The preliminary plat is what you see on the screen ahead of you now. The larger portion of the ground there between Red Hawk Street and Wheaton Road and the south property line is lot number 1. That is the Red Hawk development right in that area there. That is a platted lot. And then on the other side of Red Hawk Street, the first 2 lots, and all of those lots along there and the lots along the bottom are actually commercial use. Those first 2 lots are actually platted lots, which means they can be built on. They'll be plattable, buildable lots. The rest of the outlots on there are all for future development, and that'll be for commercial use as well. That's basically all I have on the preliminary plat.
Do you have any questions? No. So now, we will now vote on the approval of the preliminary plat. All
Taylor-
those who will approve, say aye.
We'll do a roll call.
Oh, do roll call? Okay.
Taylor,
Aye.
Nguyen,
Aye.
Aaron's,
Aye.
Winman,
Aye.
So motion carried, 4-0. Do we have motion to consider approval of the final plat?
So moved.
Moved by Taylor,
Second.
seconded by Aaron's.
Final plat just consists of the final plating of what I just explained to you, lot number 1, the 2 buildable commercial lots, and then the rest of the outlots are on there. It also has Red Hawk Street, which goes down through there, which will be the primary access to, will be an access to lot number 1, as well as all of the commercial lots. There will not be any access on 965 or Coral Ridge Avenue. Wheaton Road will be to the north of that. The extension of Wheaton Road out of the University Research Park will go to the north of that. That will also give access. And in the future, University Parkway will come across from the Oakdale Research Park and give access, secondary access to this as well. And when we get into the site plan, I'm sure Scott will have a lot more discussion for you on the street network and the utilities and what have you.
Do you have any questions? No? Can I have a roll call, please?
Nguyen,
Aye.
Aaron's,
Aye.
Winman,
Aye.
Taylor.
Aye.
So now we do have a motion to consider approval of the PUD-2 site plan.
So moved.
Moved by Aaron's,
Second.
seconded by Wenman. Any discussion?
All right, I'll give you, this is the site plan, and as Mark said, there's 9 buildings on here. There's 8 apartment houses, and there is a clubhouse, or 9, I'm sorry. There's 9 multi-unit apartment buildings plus a clubhouse, so there's actually 10 structures on here. There is the 9 units, as I said, lot 1 is the residential lot, and that's what we're looking at here tonight. We're not looking at any of the commercial lots, just the residential lot. But there's 7 42-unit apartment buildings, 2 36-unit apartment buildings. Within these buildings, there's 285 one-bedroom units, 81 two-bedroom units, for a total of 366 dwelling units, as Mark had explained. The one-bedroom units range in size from 680 square feet to 866 square feet. 2-bedroom units are all 932 square feet in size, so they are all nice-sized apartment units in there. Each building has underground parking for 30 cars, and you'll be able to see that a little bit better when we go through the images for the property. Amenities include a swimming pool, there's a bocce ball court, dog park, fire pits, trail system around the ponds, and the site. The clubhouse, which is in the center, It's where the location of the swimming pool and all the amenities around the clubhouse area there that I just mentioned. It has a study area, package room, fitness center, coffee bar, lounge area, and that's kind of a brief synopsis of it. And certainly, Mark, if you want to explain that, some of the amenities more when we're done here, you're welcome to do that as well. And like I said, Scott can kind of explain the road system and that to you.
Okay, I'll start from the north side. So that would be Wheaton Road that's going to extend west from Coral Ridge Avenue. As part of our recent Coral Ridge Avenue improvements, we did rebuild that Wheaton Road intersection, so we actually have the road stubbed off to the west. So this development will pick up from there and extend it basically just due west. So the interesting thing here is that as shown on this drawing here, Wheaton Road will be divided down the center line between the city limits of Coralville and North Liberty. And the property owner to the north is the University of Iowa or State of Iowa. So we've had several meetings with the university staff and also City of North Liberty staff, and we're still kind of working out potential options that could potentially shift the right-of-way line to the north right-of-way of, or excuse me, the city limit line, shift that to the north right-of-way of Wheaton, so that entire roadway would then be in City of Coralville, and that resolves all kinds of ongoing maintenance issues on, and we have those similar situations elsewhere on Forever Green Road. Kennedy Parkway would be another one, and so it's always best if you can put a road in one city or the other. So the road will be built as shown here, but we're still working out the potential arrangement between the two cities. Red Hawk Street extends south. And again, what we're looking at here isn't the entire property. It's kind of cut off on the bottom. But we've had many discussions with the Iowa Medical Classification Center staff. And I'll probably jump back to the PIV just so I can show you that. Actually, I might go back to the preliminary plat since that has the driveway here. Okay, so this line right here is the south boundary of the Red Hawk subdivision. So everything south of there is actually the IMCC's property. And ultimately, the long-term plan of the city is to extend University Parkway west of Coral Ridge Avenue, continue on to intersect with Jones Boulevard, and ultimately continue west all the way over to Kansas Avenue. So University Parkway is a very key east-west, kind of a minor arterial street in our West Land Use Plan. And so we're working with staff out there to make sure that we reach an acceptable alignment. And one of the things that came up was the issue of how that new alignment of University Parkway would work with their existing parking lots and driveway. Because obviously right now, that west leg of the Coral Ridge Ave University Parkway intersection is essentially their driveway, their northerly driveway. So it's a little hard to see in this image maybe, but University Parkway will curve off to the northwest into the Red Hawk subdivision property, and then we're actually going to bring their new driveway off the northeast corner of their parking lot in this location, and then that will tee in to University Parkway there. So, and it will provide actually a left turn lane, so as people turn off of Coral Ridge onto University Parkway, there will be a short dedicated left turn lane for traffic going to the IMCC to allow them to get out of the way of through traffic. So that's an ongoing discussion. The tricky part there is when it comes to either acquiring this right-of-way for the University Parkway extension and even potentially doing a land swap, because when this road goes through, there's going to be this remnant piece here and a little bit here that would still be the IMCC's property, but now it's on the other side of a public street, so that's not ideal. So we're going to talk to them about possibly swapping some property here for some property over here that would then be added to the IMC's ground to provide a larger buffer space between the new University Parkway and their outdoor yard area. So I mentioned that We've talked to local staff, but they're not the ones that make the final decision. This goes all the way to the Capitol, to Des Moines. And the State Department of Corrections will be in Coralville, I believe it's sometime next summer. And that's when we're going to have a meeting with them. It's similar to when the DOT Commission travels around the state and they have scheduled meetings for cities to attend and kind of make their case for projects. And we'll be meeting with the Department of Corrections Commission sometimes next year to talk about road alignment, changing the driveway, and also that land swap. So that piece of this development is not set in stone, but we're comfortable based on all of our communications to date that we'll be able to make it happen.
And you anticipate that as a secondary access before there's a lot of development in there?
Yeah, I think we have, and I don't know the specific numbers, but I think we have 200
dwelling units.
200 dwelling units is the max that can be built on Lot 1 until we get that secondary access through. Trying to think if there's anything else road related. I don't think so. The other big piece that we've been working on that we don't have finalized yet is the overall stormwater management plan. This site is actually more difficult than you might imagine. You would think it's kind of out in the open, a 40-acre parcel, free and clear, but it actually has several challenges drainage-wise, and just given where it is in the city here. So we are continuing to work with MMS consultants and the developer to come up with what we all feel would be the best way to handle stormwater management. We're looking at kind of the usual suspects, you know, of maybe doing permeable pavers, bioretention cells, maybe some other practices. But right now, as you can see in the preliminary plat, there's a large detention pond, which is also acts as a nice aesthetic feature, nice amenity for the development. But that doesn't treat the stormwater quality that we handle in smaller practices like permeable pavers or bioretention cells. So we've talked to them about options to kind of disperse those practices throughout the Lot 1 development where the 9 buildings are going. And we're confident we're going to get it worked out, and we're actually have a meeting with MMS tomorrow morning to continue that discussion. But our goal is to have a much clearer picture by the time the council reviews this at the end of the month. So,
Do we have on-street parking? Because underground parking doesn't seem to be enough.
they actually have under building parking on the apartment buildings. Yeah, it's all under building. And then they also have surface parking lot as well.
Each building has 30 parking spots underneath it.
Yeah, but like each building has about like 42 or 36 units.
Mm-hmm.
It's more than 30.
And the rest of it's made up with the surface parking. You can see on the site plan there.
For example, this building 7,
Yeah.
this is the ramp leading down underneath to the underground parking. So that's a full parking lot under the building, and then they have this additional parking on the
okay.
surface.
Any other question?
There's also images on there that you can see. We kind of go through the buildings for you. That would be the clubhouse that we talked about. Sure, you go right ahead.
So just one comment on if you notice, Red Hawk Street was extended all the way to the very end of the property line. That was something that was brought up before, and basically we agreed to extend it all the way to the edge of the property line, so it's set up for this connection with the facility to the south, whatever. So that's the reason why Red Hawk, that we're putting that road in at our expense to basically go all the way to the end of the property line, so it's basically set up for the master plan of Coralville to connect to University Drive. So that's the reason why we're putting that in at our cost to the property line. This is again, the clubhouse. I think it's about 6,000 or 7,000 square feet. And I just want to kind of tell you what's in it. We're using all cement-based siding, just so you know, brick, stone facade, which is an upgrade from what I think the code currently requires, because the code allows vinyl, but we're not using any vinyl on any of the buildings in the project. Inside the clubhouse, it's basically a 24/7 clubhouse. So basically, anyone can walk in at 24 hours a day to go work out, get their package. It's all teched on their mobile phones. So basically, UPS, FedEx, they deliver a package. The residents get a notification they have a package. They can go pick it up 24/7. They can work out 24/7. They can set up their own meetings 24/7. There's a conference room inside of it, and also a business center inside of the clubhouse. And so those amenities are inside of it, including there's a gathering space that the residents are free to use 24/7 as well. So it's basically set up with high tech, and the amenities basically that these residents are looking for. So we're kind of and it's all secure. It has cameras and everything, just so you know. And then the outside, again, we'll have a resort-style pool. It's about 70, it'll be 70 feet long by 30. And then, obviously, the amenities that, people are looking for inside. So that's how the clubhouse is set up. It also has a 24/7, the yoga, they can do yoga on demand by instructors, the Peloton classes, spin classes on demand from instructors all over the world. So it's set up as kind of a high-tech amenity package that we're kind of excited to bring here. So those are like the samples. So it's a large clubhouse, but it's what people are looking for. The golf, actually the dog park, if you go back to that, I'll just mention that. What we do unique here, it's actually done with synthetic grass. So a lot of times you see dog parks, they get muddy and they look disgusting and it's kind of an eyesore. These are synthetic grass, they're expensive, they're fancy, like the Purina dog chow commercials. You see, it's that type of a dog park. So it's irrigated, but it looks nice 24/7. Even when it snows, it melts like within a couple of days, just how it's set up and how it works. So it's a pretty unique feature. That's it for that.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thanks, Mark.
So now we have a roll call for approval of the PUD-2 site plan.
Aaron's,
Yes.
Wenman. Taylor.
Aye.
Nguyen.
Aye. Now move to item number 6. Public hearing request by Watts Group Development, Inc. is for the approval of the rezoning exhibit, preliminary plat, final plat, and the PUD-2, PUD-B site plan. So the public hearing is now open.
Hello, my name is Adam Long with the Watts Group. We were here last month to talk about the land use amendment for this parcel that previously has been part of Coralville, but still in the county. So what you're looking at there is the entrance to the Brown Deer Clubhouse. We enter off of First Avenue. It kind of looks like a roundabout. There's the landscaping down there, and then kind of goes up to a large hill that overlooks the driving range. And from the other side, it'll overlook First Avenue, and you'll actually be able to see into the quarry. Last year, about this time, we were in here looking at the piece of the property that was just further up the hill with that. Unfortunately, we weren't able to reach an agreement with that landowner. But we've been working with the city of Coralville on this parcel down here that I believe previously you guys were approached about a hotel that was looking at this site. We think it's set up perfectly for condos. The two sites that you'll see later in Jim's presentation and Scott's presentation, 2 30-unit buildings. One, like I said, that really overlooks the driving range and the golf course, and the other will look into the golf course and then across the road with the quarry. But we're really excited. We think it's a great piece of property. It'll have wonderful views and really add to the allure of the clubhouse and the Brown Deer. So if you have any questions, I'll be here tonight. Thank you.
Thank you. So I will now close the public hearing. Do we have a motion to consider approval of the rezoning exhibit?
So moved.
Moved by Aaron's,
Second.
seconded by Taylor. A discussion, please?
As you can see on the exhibit there, this is a rezoning from R1 to an RPUD2. Any land that's annexed into Coralville automatically comes in as R1, which is single-family residential. And so, since this is two buildings, multifamily units, we have to rezone it to a planned unit development. So your rezoning exhibit is R1 to an RPUD2. And that's for the entire parcel you're looking at there.
So do we have questions? Can I have roll call for approval of the rezoning exhibit, please?
Aaron's,
Aye.
Winman,
Aye.
Taylor,
Aye.
Wynn.
Aye. So next, do we have motion to consider approval of the preliminary plat?
So moved.
Moved by Aaron's,
Second.
seconded by Taylor. Jim?
Once again, you're looking at it in a little different view at this point in time, but to the right-hand side of that or to the east is lot number 1 where the two buildings will go. And lot number B, or outlot B, there is actually the driving range for the golf course that remains city property. So you have lot number 1 and then you have outlot B.
Jim, there's outlot A too.
There is a lot, yes, there is an outlot A down there as well, and that's also cities.
Okay, we now have roll call for approval of the preliminary plat.
Winman,
Aye.
Taylor,
Aye.
Wynn,
Aye.
Aaron's.
Aye.
So next, do we have a motion to consider approval of the final plat?
So moved.
Moved by Wenman,
Second.
seconded by Aaron's. Jim, please.
You're looking at the same thing, basically as a preliminary plat. It's just final platting the lot number 1 of the 2 outlots.
Okay. So can I have a roll call for approval of the final plat?
Taylor,
Aye.
Wynn,
Aye.
Aaron's,
Aye.
Winman.
Aye.
So we have motion to consider approval of the RPUD2, PUD-B site plan.
So moved.
Moved by Aaron's,
Second.
seconded by Taylor. Jim, please.
Okay, the PUD-B site plan is, as you see the 2 buildings there, the north building and then the building on the south, that basically runs north and south. Each building will have access off a country club drive, the drive for the golf course. It is a residential development, as we rezoned it to an RPUD2, which is a residential rezoning. It's through 2, I believe you said 30 unit, I had 32 units, but I think they're 2 32-unit buildings rather than 30-unit buildings. Once again, both of these buildings, as you can see up there, have underground parking as well as surface parking for them to meet their parking requirement. It has 45 underground spaces in each one of these buildings and then 56 surface spaces. Building number 1 is proposed to be started in the spring of 2020, completion in the fall of 2020, and phase 2 will begin right after that, 2020 fall, with the completion in the spring of 2021 is what we were given for a development schedule on this. There are amenities on this as well. This has as you can see, the kind of area that joints out there with the blank spot in the middle of it is a kind of a fire pit area. There's a bocce ball court. There are horseshoe pits and a putting green. And as we get into the sites of the building, I think you'll see that area that protrudes out on the back of both of the buildings, there is a fireplace and a gathering area there on that kind of raised patio there for gatherings for the people as well. There is on site, as you probably know, emergency siren that has to be relocated, and the plan to relocate that is on the roof of the north building to maintain the height that we need is needed so that siren will still do the same service that it does on the pole that it's at. So it'll be relocated on the roof of that building. I believe that's still the plan for that. There you're looking at the architecture of the clubhouses. It's kind of an architecture style that follows the architecture of the clubhouse, as you can see with the stone pillars on it, the pitched roof on it, the gables on the roof. This is stone and brick, primarily stone and brick buildings. There is some cement board siding as well. So that would be the front, what you would call the front of the building, in that elevation there. That's just a diagram of the underground parking once you drive in the building. These buildings, I might mention, these buildings do have elevators from the parking clear to the third floor of the third floor residence of the building. There you're looking at the back of the building, and on that lower building, I believe it's labeled where that patio is with the fireplace in that building there. So that elevation, on the one building would face First Avenue, on the other building, it would face the driving range. And that's just the end view of the buildings, and you can see the overhead door that goes down into the parking lots. These are all 2-bedroom units, I might add. There are no 1-bedroom units in here. All 64 of these units are 2-bedroom units. The hillside's going down to First Avenue, and the one going down to the entrance, kind of the hill on the south of the property, are meant to be maintained as no mow. Basically, like what they are now is no mow. They get mowed once a year, but
No more means just mulching.
pardon me?
No more means just.
No, it's not a mulch. It's plants, it's growth.
Okay.
It's not just mulch. It's like a prairie grass type situation.
It's a really steep hill, as you know, as you drive by there.
Yeah, it is a steep hill.
Yeah, so this is the view from First Avenue. This is the First Avenue Trail at the bottom of that really steep hill, looking back up the hill to the west.
So that would also maintain some of the green space like that some of the neighbors previously requested.
Oh, yes. I mean, yeah, there will be plenty of undeveloped land here that isn't built on.
To the west of this area is a medium density, right? Existing.
This is medium density. This is medium density.
But you have to, all the subdivisions immediately to the south of this are all medium density as well.
Yes. Basically, everything in this area is medium density, multifamily residential, of one type or the other. Combination of duplexes and townhomes, as well as some apartment, the existing apartment buildings. All of that is medium density.
Any other question? Okay, I can have a roll call for approval of the PUD-2 and PUD-B site plan.
Nguyen,
Aye.
Aaron's,
Aye.
Wenman,
Aye.
Taylor.
Aye.
Item number 7. Do you have public hearing here, Jim?
No.
Okay.
This is just the
So
final
request by 965 Development Co. is for the approval of the final plat. Do we have motion to consider approval of the final plat?
So moved.
Moved by Aaron's,
Second.
seconded by Wenman. Jim?
This Coral Ridge Commerce Park Phase 7 is, Coral Ridge Commerce Park is the location of the North Avis, and the other multi-tenant commercial buildings that are there. There's a Falbo's, there's a Verizon, there's a Subway, there's all sorts of buildings out there. So this is just phase number 7, and it is one building lot. It is south of Wheaton Road. I think it's the second lot south of Wheaton Road, phase 7. It's second lot south there. It's just it's a commercial lot. It will be developed commercially.
It's being split off from this parcel?
Yeah.
Half?
Yeah.
Okay.
So do we have any question? So this is a roll call or just roll call?
Yes.
Okay. So we have a roll call for approval of the final plat?
Aaron's,
Aye.
Wenman,
Aye.
Taylor,
Aye.
Nguyen.
Aye. So do we have anything for next month, Jim?
We have 2 submittals for next month. We're working through the staff review of them now. So, yeah.
So do we have motion to adjourn the meeting?
So moved.
Moved by Aaron's,
Second.
seconded by Taylor. The meeting is now adjourned.